Hi, good morning. Happy Saturday. I'm Meghan Maes, and this is Being Civil in Minnesota. I'm an attorney and a mediator in the state of Minnesota, and I like to come here and talk about family law issues and issues about the court. This does not make me your lawyer, and I'm not going to be giving you legal advice. I think that information be shared freely, and people should know what is happening in the court system and how that can impact their life. Hi, good morning. Say hi in the chat if you have any questions. So today we're going to be talking about telling a story, how you can present your best evidence in court to show a history and pattern of abuse. This is one of the hardest topics and hard for people to share. And it can be very important to make sure that you have the ability to tell the court your story in a way that's organized and effective and represents your truth. We'll talk about how the courts view domestic abuse and how you can help the judge understand your story and the pattern behind it. So, what's the legal framework? Well, in the state of Minnesota, courts will consider whether or not domestic abuse has occurred in the parents' households when addressing custody, which is decision making, or parenting time, which is the schedule. It can be important for the court to know how your experience of domestic abuse will impact your safety, the child's safety, and co-parenting dynamics. It's not necessarily about labeling the other person as bad, even though you have the right not to be domestically abused. The behavior is not right. It's really more about helping the court understand the reality in which you and your children live your day-to-day life. Some things that can make it hard for a court to understand that history is if the information comes in and it's too much unorganized detail. Survivors or victims often have a hard time remembering everything. And so it can be important to make sure that the information that you are providing is whole, it's factual, and it is relevant to what you are asking the court to do. This is going to be emotional, and I think it is important for the court to know how you feel about it. But more important is for the court to know what the pattern is so that they can try to help you figure out how to break that pattern and that cycle of abuse. Sometimes people want to minimize the abuse. They don't want to talk about it. They have been told that someone will not believe them or that something terrible would happen to them or the children. There's lots of reasons why people don't disclose. And a person's decision not to tell somebody is an individual choice, and there should not be any negative inference attributed to that individual for choosing the right time for them to disclose it. I have had experiences with agencies who, when I was with my client to report it, they were disappointed that the individual waited 3 days before reporting. That's not okay. And if that has happened to you, that's also not okay. Oftentimes, domestic abuse will happen behind closed doors, so there may not necessarily be witnesses or evidence or things that will show that, yes, domestic abuse has occurred, but there will be evidence of patterns. There may be medical records. There may be police reports. There may be visible marks. There may be a negative impact on the victim's ability to do their job, to function. Domestic abuse happens more than just a physical, emotional, mental, psychological abuse are often longer and outlast the bruise or the break. But those are the unseen injuries. Judges are trained to look for patterns, to assess evidence and information, and to apply them to the law. You want to make sure that you are using factual language. Try not to use make sure you describe the conduct and not just label the behavior as domestic abuse, that I was domestically abused or I was hurt. The court's going to want to know what happened. Where were you? What did the abuser do? Where were the children? How did you respond? Just some of the many questions that will give the court context. If there are acts where you feel threatened, disclose what the threat was or what the threatening behavior was. They stood close to me. They spit on me. They had a look in their eye that I've recognized before. The children were crying. Describe the scenario. Paint a picture for the court so that they can put themselves in that situation and try to make a decision on what is best for the kids. Explain what was happening before. Did it come out of the blue? Did you expect this? Is there a pattern? And how it impacted you. Did you have to stay home from work? Did you have to go to the hospital? Did the children have to stay home from school? If you do have photographs of the house after it was destroyed or injuries, audio recordings, video evidence, that can be very powerful. But the number one most important thing is to know your situation and do what is safe. It is not always safe to do that. Minnesota is a one-party consent state, so you can record them without their permission. Other ways that you can show patterns are grouping incidents together. So if you want to show that there's a pattern of harassment or belittling, and that's why you don't want to have contact with the other person, instead of providing 250 text messages where I'm sure there will be multiple instances of it, take the worst, take several, take all of them, and put them together in one place for the judge to really see what it is like to have to interact with that other individual. Do not exaggerate. That just helps with credibility, and sticking to the facts and the impact in your feelings are really what's important. Whenever you're disclosing domestic abuse, your safety is the most important thing. Please reach out to a domestic abuse agency if you do have concerns for your safety or safety of somebody else in your care. There are crime victim witness coordinators if you believe that crimes have been occurring and your case is in the criminal justice system. they can help with that process. And if you can't afford an attorney, there are resources like legal services that can help try to bring your concerns to a court and get the court to issue an order that will enhance your safety and the safety for your kiddos. This is a really hard area of law. It does not have a specific pattern or a group or a socioeconomic status. Abuse occurs in all communities, in all cities. So, misreporting is incredibly rare. Believe victims. If you have questions about today's topic or have a story that you want to share, please put so in the comments. If you thought this was helpful, please share this information with a friend. There are several other episodes on the YouTube channel Being Civil in Minnesota, and you can join our group on Facebook, also called Being Civil in Minnesota, where you can ask questions. So I'm Meghan Maes. Appreciate everybody stopping by today, and I hope you have a great rest of your weekend.